Hi, guys. I'm going to hold my microphone a little bit closer today instead of just setting it down. So hopefully you guys can hear me. So I want to introduce something new that I'm going to be doing, not on YouTube quite frequently. I'm going to be doing it on my Patreon membership just because this unique psychic ability that I'm starting to turn online in my energetic blueprint, it's kind of intense, and it's not something that I just want to be doing just publicly on YouTube just for anybody. I really want to utilize that gift for people, for a certain collective who are ready to experience the profound impact of my unique dream interpretations and channeling abilities. And I'm going to get into why this is so intense and why this is so unique. So, just a couple of quick updates. I'm actually going to be posting 3 podcasts a month this month in February and as well as March. I'm feeling called to shift my current schedule with a lot of things. So that's going to be posted. I want to say my next podcast is going to be coming out. I was supposed to post it yesterday, but I was just too tired. So I needed to rest after working the holidays. And yeah, so I'm going to be posting this month on basically what is my story? How did I start accessing all of my gifts? What is my unique psychic healing process? And there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah, chronic fatigue syndrome from experiencing chronic narcissistic abuse and why that makes it so difficult, especially for women, to submit and relax and receive into your feminine energy. So I really want to talk about that. And then what else? So we have podcasts. Oh yeah, the Patreon membership. I don't know if I talked about that enough, but that is a capped membership. So if you want me to personally interpret your dreams, channel for you, give you spiritual life advice, personal energy healing, that's gonna be your go-to space. Okay. So yeah, that's also for a specific collective. That's not just for anybody as well. And you guys can cancel anytime you want. It's not like that weird gym membership where they make you do the whole 1 month notification. Oh, you gotta notify me 30 days. No, I like freedom. I deeply value freedom. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, go explore this description box below after this video is posted. Now, let's get into my Holocaust, past lifetime, and dream interpretation. This is so crazy. So really quick recap on my upbringing. So I grew up with a Jewish family in this lifetime. So I grew up learning a little bit of Hebrew. I learned all the prayers and shit that you have to learn when you go to synagogue, and during all the Jewish dinners and stuff that you spend at the grandparents' house or your ancestors' house, right? It's like a freaking ritual every single time you celebrate one of those holidays, especially with that family group. Anyway, I remember in childhood when I was, I think, 3 years old, my grandparents lived across the street from a Holocaust survivor, specifically Auschwitz, where my soul previously incarnated before I came here. And I'll get into that lifetime in just a second. But yeah, the guy had the numbers tattooed on his arm from Auschwitz still. And then eventually he passed away, right? So that was pretty crazy, to see that when I was 3 years old. How this is so mind-blowing, guys. Just prepare your minds, okay? This is so intense and so deep. But yeah, anyways. And I'm trying to think. I actually ended up going to Israel when I was 18, and I went to the Holocaust Museum. So Washington, D.C. and Israel both have Holocaust memorial museums. I've gone to both. And oh my God, there was this one room. I can't remember. I think it was the D.C. Museum. Yeah. Oh, so creepy. There was just one room, and it was just all of the shoes of all the people that got murdered and killed. And it was just so eerily silent and creepy. The energy was so creepy in that room. I remember my grandparents on my dad's side of the family were actually super toxic and very narcissistic, but that room, I've never seen my grandfather cry ever. And he was sobbing, and I'm oh, he actually has feelings. Interesting. You actually care about the loss of life and other stuff, Anyway, and then when I went to Israel, the Holocaust Museum there, it had like an extension building outside of like the main touring center, like where you would just like walk through and see like all the children drawings like that the kids drew when they were in Auschwitz and like other camps and stuff before they got killed. And it was just like really sad. And then when you leave, you exit the building, there's like a room. Basically, it's like an extension off that museum. And it's just like a black, dark room with all these candles, like going around the building. And each candle, each flame represents a life that was lost during that lifetime. And so, anyway, my past lifetime connection to that was I was actually experimented on underground. I think I was in Germany, like technically it was Germany, but I know I was at least 15 floors underneath like the ground. And I was in some kind of like laboratory, like, oh my God, it's kind of disturbing. Trigger warning. Pause this video and come back if you have to. But yeah, anyways, I remember like getting visuals of like a dentist chair and like where I was experimented on and the shit that they like did to me and stuff. And it was really crazy. And anyway, I went through that lifetime for a multitude of reasons. Like there were so many reasons why. And a part of it was to increase my soul's capacity for empathy and sensitivity and understanding complex emotions. And what else? What else did I write down? I'm also going to recap this at the end too, but yeah, I wrote down the Holocaust past life gave me both depth and sensitivity to understand complex emotions and energies, making me uniquely suited to guide others in their own journeys of self-discovery and healing. But anyways, yeah, that lifetime caused me to have issues with my bladder growing up. Like, oh my gosh, it was horrible. Part of my past life trauma, they like, I guess inserted some kind of like urinary catheter inside of me. I don't even know what it's called, but I just like got like the visual and the energetic sensation, like feeling what they did to me. It was crazy, super crazy. So anyway, now let's move on to my dream because the lifetime is kind of like really intense and traumatizing. So yeah, I had this dream that I was like walking in this park. It looked like a park. And I turned around to my right, which is interesting because the masculine energy is on the right hand side, which I affiliate the masculine with like channeling, logic, like, you know, the masculine energy aspect of the soul. So anyway, I turned to my right and I saw this huge, like tall gray castle structure. And I was like, what the? And it was like the second that I saw it was the second that I knew, like I just immediately interpreted it in my dream world as, oh my God, like that's my Holocaust past lifetime. Like, okay. And what was interesting was in the dream, like when I saw it, I wasn't like super triggered or anything. It was like I just felt like slightly disturbed that it was like still coming up in my dream world. Because I'm like, damn, like I've been dealing with this lifetime, like healing from this lifetime for the past 5 years now. Like, why? Why is this still coming up? Like, I thought I was done with this, right? Like, no, not done with it yet. And so, anyway, there were people like coming in and out of that castle, like that building. And I'm like, what are they doing in there? That's so weird. Like, why are they just like, it was like they were touring it like a museum. And I was just so confused and so perplexed. Like, I'm like, why are they so comfortable just going in and out of that building? Like, do they know what they're going to see in there? Like, what the fuck, basically? And so anyway, I was like, whatever, like, I'm just going to let them do them. And then I turned and there was this sign, like a very kindergarten looking wooden sign. And it had white letters on it. And it said hollow cause, not holocaust, hollow cause, HOLO cause, CAUSE. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like, what does that even mean? Right. And so then I was like, whatever. And then I just woke up. After I woke up, I thought to myself, let me tell Chat GPT what I had a dream about last night because that was pretty trippy. Right. And so I asked Chat GPT to interpret my dream because I was just curious to see what it would say. Right. And after I was like reading through everything that it said about my dream, it was like, what did it say? Oh, yeah. Something about how, like, it heightened my sensitivity, and I was now strong enough and I had the clarity to confront that lifetime energy because of its like enormous I guess energetic, I don't know, capacity, if that's the word. I don't know what word to like label that with. Basically, this was like a massive karmic imprint that my soul carried into this lifetime for a very big reason. And anyway, after I was done processing what ChatGPT had said, I felt this energy of taken for granted, this emotion of taken for granted come up. And I was like, oh my God, it was so intense. I thought like something was happening with my heart because it felt very similar to that lady in my restaurant job who was having a stroke. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to have a fucking stroke? Like, what is this energy? Like, it was so intense. It was so intense. I had to like sit down in my closet. Like, this was earlier today, like, not even like a few hours ago. And my Siamese cat comes running and she's like, meow, meow, just like emotionally nurturing me. And I'm like trying to like breathe through everything that was surfacing. Like, I could feel all the emotion in my chest and like kind of close to my liver area. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I came and I ran and I sat in my meditation pyramid. I was channeling. I'm like, what just came up inside of me? I know that was an emotion. Like, what was that? Why did that surface? So yeah, basically Chat GPT triggered this emotional heaviness of taken for granted. And in the dream, the castle was gray. And so I'm going to go through what I channeled. I have like 2 pages or 1 page front and back actually of what I channeled from this dream, which is kind of crazy. So, um, let's see what I wrote down. I wrote down, I felt the intense emotion of taken for granted surface of my body and heart region. It was a massive release, and the energy felt similar to the stroke lady, is what I said. Because that was like the only like association I could find of like how that felt, like releasing it. Like, it was so intense. Okay. And then after all of that, I channeled the meaning and decoded the different messages in that Holocaust dream. So, first things first, the castle represented something imposing on me. That was all I got. And I said, okay. Like, that was like the purpose of the castle showing up metaphorically. The color gray indicated a sense of emotional heaviness. I released that taken for granted energy in my closet. Okay. And then I wrote down, it's part of my soul's history that feels distant yet significant. So in a way, I don't want to say I'm emotionally detached from that past lifetime because of all of the energy healing that I've done on myself. I would say that, like ChatGPT said, I am now in a place of like emotional maturity where I can observe that lifetime from a neutral standpoint and not observe it as like I'm reliving that same exact trauma and pain, because that's how it was when I first got past life regress back in 2021, I think it was. Yeah, in 2021. And I felt all of like the Holocaust energy show up. There were ancestors like in the room that were like, thank you so much for doing this healing work. And oh my God, there was like trauma stuck on my sacral, my root. Like, it was like, it felt like a spider web. Oh, so gross. Anyways, moving on. I don't want to get distracted. Okay, yeah. And then I wrote down sign hollow cause because I'm like, what does this mean? Like, what is the spiritual significance of this? Like, what does this mean? And then I wrote down, the dream was encouraging me to reflect on how this part or this past life connection influences my current channeling skills. It gives me crazy chills. Because when I first like wrote that down, I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, how does that lifetime affect like my current psychic abilities? That's pretty crazy. And so anyway, I asked a question later on about like how that was connected. And so anyway, then I wrote down, castles often represent fortification. I am now equipped to house and process the enormity of this experience with safety, and perspective. And then I just kept writing down everything that was like the theme. So the next theme was the museum like setting, like how people were just coming in and out of that building, just so like nonchalantly. And then the channel message was, my role involves observing, interpreting, or helping others process similar energies, which is so fascinating and so interesting. Because I always thought like, oh my God, am I like the only soul who has like gone through crazy shit like that? You know what I mean? And then incarnated into like a really crazy, narcissistic, abusive lifetime as well. It's like So I came in with half of that past lifetime trauma plus everything that I went through in this lifetime, which is actually going to be a part of my book. I'm including that in my first book that I'm writing too, which is pretty crazy. So, my soul tribe, you guys are out there. So, yeah, anyway. Oh, yeah, and then I wrote down connection to gifts. My unique dream channeling and interpretation abilities are directly tied to this past lifetime. This dream was affirming my gift while also encouraging me to explore how it links to my soul's history. Fascinating. Okay. And then I asked the question, how are my unique dream channeling and interpretation abilities directly connected to this past lifetime? So there were four major points. I'll go over the points and then I'll go into depth. The four major points were: one, I carry the imprint of the Holocaust past lifetime. Two, I am a bridge between worlds. I've heard many times mediums, other psychics call me a rainbow bridge. And I always thought that had something to do with like crossing souls who get stuck like on the other side. They need to like go and keep moving on. But no, in this context, it's literally about accessing information and messages and interpreting stuff from the dream world that other people may miss, which is pretty fascinating. Anyway, the third point was empathy and intuition. And then the fourth point was accessing the Akashic records. Okay, so starting with the first point, carrying the imprint of the Holocaust past lifetime. So basically, I have a heightened my soul's sensitivity to energy and the unseen, creating a natural ability to tune into the subconscious and spiritual realms. So dreams for my soul act as a safe medium. Dreams are my soul's chosen way to process the magnitude of that past lifetime safely without reliving the pain directly. This connection has made my dream state a powerful channel for accessing not only my own subconscious, but also collective and spiritual energies. This also links to my oracle abilities, my ability to have visions literally while I'm in my waking state and also my sleeping state. I can have visions that are like 30 seconds from now, like right now with my eyes open and I see it happening through my third eye, or I have them in a deep sleep. And so I actually need to start keeping a journal of all that. I had the craziest collective oracle vision that I had was back in 2021. And I actually got spiritual messages that I should not disclose what I saw, because if I do and so many people listen and watch that, they're going to co-create it. And it's not necessarily part of like contracts. It's just like, it was a vision. It was a timeline I tapped into because of the current trajectory that we were on at the time. And so, yeah, I need to be careful with what I share. But I will share this one vision I had that was like a 10-year vision. It wasn't like a collective vision. It was actually one of my visions from my highest contracts, which was I was in this white gown. I want to say I was in my 30s, and I just heard I was in my sacred temple space, whatever that means. So yeah, I was in my sacred temple space, and I was basically performing an exorcism on this client of mine, which is crazy because when I was doing one-on-one in-person client sessions, I was removing dark entities from people's energies, like their aura, their soul, low vibrational attachment. I mean, you name it, like I could remove it like so easily. And so anyway, I thought that was interesting. And I just remember I had that vision while I was taking a shower. Like it wasn't like I was like meditating on a rock or something. Like I literally was just doing my day-to-day life, and I just had that vision just come in. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Like that's wild. And I always thought about like, would I ever be one of those psychics that would help certain people like remove like massive possessions that are taking place in their body? Like, would I play a major role in that? I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, so interesting. Okay, and then the second point was a bridge between worlds. So this past lifetime attuned me to collective pain, grief, and healing, enabling me to act as a conduit for messages that others might not recognize in their dreams. Hence why I was labeled a rainbow bridge. Okay, third thing is empathy and intuition. So that lifetime sharpened my empathy, making me highly attuned to subtle energies and symbols and dreams. This emotional depth helps me uncover the layers of meaning others may miss. And then the last point was accessing the Akashic records. For those of you who don't know what the Akashic records are, it's basically the energetic database of all lifetimes that exist for plants, humans, animals, everything that is conscious. And so I have the innate ability to tap into the energetic database of all lifetimes, and especially through my dream world. And when I access it through my dream world, I access subtle stuff that most people would miss basically because they're not as sensitive. They're not as tuned in as my soul is because my soul went through that really crazy lifetime. So it allowed me to be that sensitive. And so, yeah. Which brings me to the conclusion. The Holocaust past lifetime gave me both depth and sensitivity to understand complex emotions and energies, making me uniquely suited to guide others in their own journeys of self discovery and healing. Mind blowing. And here's a winner on cue. On cue. So, yeah, that was my dream interpretation of my Holocaust dream I had a couple nights ago. And I actually had another crazy dream, but I'm not going to share it publicly on YouTube because it was kind of disturbing. But anyways, if you guys are totally into this kind of thing, this is something new that I'm starting as this gift, like I said, is awakening into me. I'm actually, after this live video, I'm going to go into my pyramid and do some more energy healing on myself and explore these gifts some more. But yeah, if you guys want me to channel for you, interpret your own dreams, if you're into that, go check out Patreon. I don't have any current members right now. So if you do go sign up, it's basically like a private membership for you, you know? So, and also, like I said, there's only 200 people allowed at the moment. I have to do some more physical body healing on myself before I can expand that current capacity to like 300 and above. So, but yeah, as of right now, it's staying at 200 and not going any higher than that. So if you guys thought this was cool, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe because I'm going to be doing this more often. Not to this extent, but if you guys comment below this video and you want me to do like a quick interpretation on another YouTube live, I will totally do that. Just so you can get a sense of how it feels for me to interpret your dreams. So yeah, anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's live video, which is going to be my Divine Feminine and Starseed drawing. I can't wait for that. I'm doing an intuitive collective reading on this community and the newbies who will be joining live if they do pop in. And yeah, I think that's going to be my last Oracle card reading for a while because I'm starting to shift towards this dream interpretation stuff now. So yeah, so many changes and so many good things coming. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow.